Welcome to the April 8th Select Board meeting. And I'll ask for a roll call, please.
Frank West here.
William Maselli here.
Greg Bendel here.
Kevin Kyra here.
Garrett Palmer here. Ask everyone to rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And at this time, I'd like to have a moment of silence for David Elliott, who was a longtime member of Wilmington employer. I is saddened to hear of his sudden passing, and we send sympathy to the family, and let everyone know that we will miss David. One moment of silence, please.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, just before we bow our heads, if we could also just keep the Stano family in our thoughts. As many know, they lost their son tragically this weekend in an automobile accident. Kevin was set to graduate from Wilmington High School this year, and can't imagine a worse nightmare. And so I think all of us are thinking of the Stano family this evening, and I hope everybody will keep them in their thoughts and prayers.
Thank you. Thank you. First on our agenda will be transmitting of the Treasury warrants. Treasury warrant 2439, 2439W, 2439T, 2439S, 2440, 2440W, and 2440T. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor? Approved. Now we have 1 minute, let me make sure here. We have one approval of minutes to do for March 25th.
Motion to approve?
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Approved. Now we're a little early, but if everyone's here from Man, and Man.
Man.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, Jill Mann here on behalf of All Rig USA, the developer who is going to be constructing a property at 208 Main Street. It's basically a Chase Bank, and it'll probably be also a restaurant. In connection with that, we are seeking to have some export of materials, but only in association with the construction. It's, almost 1,000 cubic yards. It's my understanding this has been reviewed by Mr. Aluni, the town's engineer, because we did submit
You have the green cards, too?
Oh, I did not bring them. Wait, you know what? I shouldn't say that. You know what I have? I have the delivery slips.
That's, you can give them right to Beth. Thank you. Sorry about that.
Usually my assistant tells me, Jill, you have to give them the green cards. This time, she left me hanging. Thank God she's
Came
organized.
prepared.
Yeah, you take a,
Excuse me 1 second. I apologize. This
No,
is a
of
public
course.
hearing, by the way,
Yes, it is.
that I'll be opening up.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we open the public hearing for the earth removal at the property located at 208 Main Street.
Do I have a second?
second.
All those in favor? Public hearing is open. I apologize for that, and you can have a seat, please.
Oh, thank you. I'll just say ditto, right, to the earlier comments. So we're basically here to request an earth removal permit. We understand that there'll be a bond required in connection with the removal. We did submit haul routes to Mr. Aluni, which he said were acceptable. I did review all of those conditions that he proposed, and my client finds them acceptable and reasonable. So we are simply seeking this board's approval to be able to haul that material off-site. And to let you know, basically, it's an existing building, so there's a lot of, the hauling will be, some of the just extra materials, like there's a foundation to be taken out, but also existing storm water has to be taken out, the systems, and that requires a permit. It's way above your 450 cubic yards that are permitted.
Mr. Chair, if I may, we did get the note from the select board. The project received approvals from the planning board and the DPW.
Are there any questions?
Mr. Chairman? Hi, good evening.
Mr. West?
Good evening.
Good evening. I was just wondering, now, so you're tearing, this is the old Rite Aid building,
I believe so, yes,
so they're tearing that down,
yes.
and then, go ahead.
They're completely reconstructing it. So the building will be completely torn down, obviously raised, and then the site's being redesigned because the abutting property owner on the other side, that's also a fast food restaurant, because this might be a Chipotle. So in association with them, we have a shared driveway.
Correct.
So one of the big issues for the planning board was to make sure that that was safe and actually improved somewhat, because it's shared. So that is even being redesigned, kind of relocated a little bit to enhance exiting, entering, and sight distance.
So the earth that's being removed, it sounds like what you're saying is it may include, is basically going to be site, at the old building, basically, the foundation and underneath it and stuff like that, and also the
Right.
stormwater drainage that was associated with the existing.
Exactly, and then putting in the new stuff, because we have to put in a new stormwater management system to take into account a lot of the changes that are being put in place. So a lot of the materials, like C&D, like construction demolition materials, really don't require an export permit, but when you're coming in and you're taking out all of that stormwater and then putting in new, that's what requires it.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Questions?
Yeah, not that you're here probably to answer this question, but I figured I'd ask you. Is it a
Ask.
drive-through, do you know?
Yes?
Okay.
There's a drive-through window, and that went through the planning board and approved. But I will tell this board that we're seeking the use permit. So the use permit has to be issued by the zoning board of appeals because it's a limited service restaurant. So that means that's really size-oriented and some other qualifications. So because of that, we have to go before the zoning board, and that's what we're going to do on Wednesday evening.
Will this product that you're pulling out, will that be hauled locally, or will you be taking it out of town? Or you
No, I
don't?
think it's going to be out of town because they're going to haul over 93, so it's going to some processing plant. Because some of the materials will include asphalt, so then you have to take that to an asphalt processing plant. So there are certain materials that have to go certain places.
Any other questions? Do I have a motion to approve?
Mr. Chair, would you entertain the public for
Or-
questions?
Yes, anyone from the public that wants to talk?
Mr. Chairman, based on that, I'd like to close the public hearing. Make a motion to close.
Second.
All those in favor? Approved. Now, a motion, where is that? We got that down here. I had it. What was it? Board to consider. I saw it here.
You have a board to consider in that?
I don't think it needs a board.
It's not there, no.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the earth removal for the property located at 208 Main Street.
I'll second
Second.
that.
All those in favor? It's approved.
Thank you very much. I
Thank you.
appreciate
Good
your
luck.
time.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Take care. Have a good night.
You too.
Two.
Thank you very much. Next on our agenda, another public hearing for a right-of-way for Verizon.
Yes.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Have a seat. And at this time, I'm going to open up the second public hearing.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we open up the public hearing to discuss to locate one pole on Woburn Street.
I'll second that motion.
All those in favor? Welcome to your hearing.
Thank you. Do you want me to read the
Yeah,
petition?
You can explain
or-
to us what you
Okay.
want to do, and
All right, sure. So Verizon and Reading Municipal Light would like permission to put a pole, new pole 166 on Woburn Street to provide service to a building under construction at 203 Lowell Street.
okay. I have one question right off.
Yes.
Is this pole been put in?
No, it has not.
Oh, 'cause
No,
there is
there's a
there
Mass
is
DOT
history-
project.
There is a history here.
Okay, there's a Mass DOT project going on in that intersection now.
Yep.
This pole has not been installed. It's actually going under some dirt. There's a dirt pile that Mass DOT has where this pole is going,
Okay, thank you.
so it has not been placed.
Questions?
Yeah. Did you say that this is for new construction over there?
This is
There's
for
gonna be a
the-
building over there?
The construction at 203 Lowell Street,
Okay.
that's going on.
Oh, the one that's there now?
The one that's there
being
now.
built
Yes,
now.
this
Okay,
is the one that's under construction now.
okay.
Any other questions?
Stacy Manso?
Do you have any comments from the public? Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing.
Do you have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? And now I'll ask for the board to make a motion to accept this pole location on Woburn Street.
I'll make a motion to approve the request of Verizon New England and Reading Municipal Light Department to locate one pole on Woburn Street.
Second for discussion? Thank you. Thank you very much for being here. And I'm so glad to hear, the chairman alluded to it, but I'm so glad to hear this poll has not been placed already. I've been sweating this all day, thinking
Yeah.
I was gonna have to vote against it, not that you care, but we've had several of these come in front of us the last couple of years, and
Yeah.
each time they come for our permission, the poll's already been placed, so.
Oh, okay.
Very relieved to hear that that's not the case here, so I look forward to supporting this. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And for discussion,
Sure.
the pole that's being placed, is it going to be outside the sidewalk or right in the middle of the sidewalk?
No,
where
it
they're
is, it
usually
is
placed?
outside, it is outside of the sidewalk.
Oh, that's good.
Because Mass DOT is reconstructing the sidewalk, so it's out of the area.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Great.
Any other questions?
Nope.
Let's take a vote. All those in favor? Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you
All
very
right,
much.
thank you. Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Your poll is approved.
Mr. Chair, just to let you know, after the meeting, we do have some signatures required on some of these.
Thank you. Third on our list is the Paddock Lounge. Is anyone here from the Paddock? You state your name, sir?
My name is Saad. Saad, S-A-A-D. Yeah, and I'm here to represent Paddock Lounge.
Good evening.
Oh.
And you're looking for a common vehicular license for the property at 40 Fordham Road, correct?
Correct, yes.
We have received some information from our Public Health Department and our building inspector that they are not recommending that this be approved.
If I may, Mr. Chair, there was just a little confusion. The Paddock Lounge is actually inside of K1 Speed. So this memo here is a non-recommendation for Paddock Lounge inside K1 Speed. Originally, Shelley thought this was for the new management at K1 Speed.
That's correct.
And not the Paddock Lounge. K1 Kitchen has some violations that need to be addressed before she would recommend the license to Paddock. So have you been in touch with our Director of Health?
We did.
Okay.
Yeah, they are working on it currently. So it was a Vents issue, I believe. Yeah, but it's supposed to be fixed within a couple of weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions? I'm going to make a motion that we do not approve this.
Well, do we
Well, what?
continue, or?
I was gonna say.
Why don't we make a motion
continue.
to table
Table.
until
Yeah.
we hear back from the Board of Health and the building inspector and invite Mr. Saad
Sure.
back to a meeting to get this up and
Absolutely.
running for you.
Sure.
Great.
I think
Yeah.
if I may, Mr. Chair, I think if it's some minor issues that you might have taken with the Board of Health, you might be able to come back next
Yeah.
select board meeting in a couple
Absolutely.
weeks.
Sure.
So I'm gonna make a motion to.
Motion to
oh,
table.
we did? Okay,
All those in favor of tabling? So be.
okay.
Be tabled until you get these rectified, and then it'll come before us again. Thank you very much.
So much.
Have a nice evening.
Thank you.
Communications already, wow. Communications.
Mr. Chair, we have a communication from the temporary Director of Veteran Services. The Department of Veteran Services and the Select Board member Greg Bendel have worked hard with the school department and the school committee to grant a posthumous diploma for Mr. Elmer Drew, who was killed on D-Day, June 6, 1944. Elmer Drew was a member of the Navy Combat Demolition Unit, which would later become the Navy SEALs, and he needed his mother's signature to join the Navy at 17. Warren Drew will be presented with his uncle's diploma at the school committee meeting on Wednesday, April 10th at 7 p.m. in the large instruction room at the high school, and he is inviting all the board members to attend.
Thank you.
Great job.
Very nice. Thank you, Selectman Bendel.
Wonderful.
Our next is a memorandum from our Director of Public Works, and this is an order continued eligible Tree City 2024. The Select Board is required again to make an official Arbor Day proclamation 2024 in order for the which is typically the first Friday in April and falls on Friday, April 26th this year. The designation of Tree City helps recognize Wilmington for the many efforts and investments made by various departments in tree care, tree conservation, and urban forestry planning, and is listed as ongoing goal of the town's open space and recreation plan. And I have to tell you, our Director of Public Works is on point with all of that.
Always.
And that kind of goes into the next, nope, I'm sorry. The next correspondence is from Mary Claire Rigby, Principal Specialist, National Grid, FY24 Annual Transmission of Vegetation Maintenance Notification. Board to consider is signing the proclamation declaring April 26, 2024 Arbor Day in the town of Wilmington.
Mr. Chair, I move that we sign the proclamation declaring April 26, 2024 Arbor Day in the town of Wilmington.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Those opposed?
Okay, I'm sorry here, I lost track a little bit, Mr. Chair.
Seven.
Board to consider request from the Wilmington band parents and friends to sell coffee, donuts, popcorn, cold drinks, pom-poms, and balloons during the Memorial Day Parade. As you know, Mr. Chair, this is something that this board has granted for many years, for them to be able to sell their wares
So move.
in front of the high school.
Second.
All those in favor? So moved.
Next board to consider is, again, from Michael Fraughton, the temporary director of Department of Veteran Services, to use the parking lot at Silver Lake Fishing Pier for the purpose of conducting a flag retirement ceremony on Friday, June 14, 2024. You may remember this, an Eagle Scout project. He put the boxes around town to recover the non-serviceable flags, and they will be having the ceremony at the parking lot on June 14th.
Motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor? So moved.
Thank you. Next board to consider is ratification of the temporary town manager's appointment of Timothy J. Woods Sr. to the Reading Municipal Light Department Citizens Advisory Board for a term to expire April 30th, 2026. As you know, Mr. Hooper retired, and Dennis Kelly took his place on this board, or he's been on the board. And now we're going to have our, his new gentleman that took Dennis's place. And now he's going to be on the Reading Light Municipal Citizens Advisory Board.
Mr. Chairman, motion to ratify the temporary town manager's appointment of Timothy J. Woods to the Reading Light Citizens Advisory Board.
Do I have a second?
Second?
All those in favor? Approved.
Next board to consider is signing local initiative program application for local action unit to the Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities. This is the 18-unit multifamily apartment development on Cross Street, was approved by the Planning Board in 2023. The units will consist of 12 one-bedroom units and 6 two-bedroom units in a 3-story building. The inclusionary bylaw, Section 6.11 of the zoning bylaw, requires that 15% of the units, 3, be affordable to count to the town's subsidized housing inventory.
Mr. Chair, I move that we sign the local initiative program application for the local action units to the Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities at Cross Street.
I'll second.
In favor? Approved. Mr. Peterson, would you like to speak at all?
Oh, no, I just came to make sure everyone knew it wasn't a 40B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, yes.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate that.
It's approved.
All right. Thank
Thanks,
you.
have a good one.
Go back to the kids.
Bye.
Board to consider request by Lisa Sear, Wilmington High School Hockey Boosters, conduct a fundraising car wash on Saturday, August 17, 2024, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Public Buildings Department. And just to let you know that there are no conflicts. And they were also notified to reach out to the Masons.
Move to grant the request.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Approved.
Next one is this is what we talked about earlier. This is the signing of the letter of intent to enter into Preservation Restriction Massachusetts Historical Commission for the property located at 430 Main Street, Salem Street. This is for the Hardin Tavern to get their
Oh, right, yeah.
designation
Yep.
so they can apply for the grant that we had discussed at a earlier meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second, like to have discussion?
Discussion?
Yeah, just got a quick question. It spells out the house and the carriage house. What about the garage and Minuteman headquarters? Do they need to be included as part of that, or?
I can check.
I don't think they mentioned it in their presentation. I
No,
think they
it wasn't.
spoke of those two things, but
Yeah, I didn't think they did, because I think those buildings were built after the fact, but I just didn't know if they needed to be included.
yeah. If I remember
But if
correctly, it was
it's-
just those two.
But I know the work is being done on specifically the tavern and the carriage house, so.
Those are
fine.
the historical.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all set.
Okay, board to consider authorizing the
Oh,
temp.
Take a
you-
vote.
wanna take
We
a
need
vote?
Time out. Are we voting on that or the next one?
No, this,
We have a
The
motion and a second.
the Tavern.
Got it.
Do I have a motion to accept?
In motion.
We have a second.
Oh, we have one. All those in favor?
there you go.
So moved.
Board to consider authorizing temporary town manager Lou Somaglia IV to execute a preservation restriction with the Massachusetts Historical Commission.
Motion to approve?
I'll second.
All those in favor? Approved.
That is it for board to consider, Mr. Chairman.
We're into public comments.
Good evening. Before I make my comments,
Could I ask you your name, sir?
I'm just going to remain anonymous tonight.
Okay, Mr. Anonymous.
Can you tell us what the total amount of the warrants are tonight?
No, we don't have that figure in front of us.
You have it if you'd like me to.
Be my guest.
Just a quick question, Mr. De Palma. Are you the one who puts together the agenda?
Yes, I am.
Well, if you
I've
vote on,
reviewed them, but I don't have those numbers with me.
well, if you vote on warrants, how can you vote on something that you're not specifying a dollar amount on?
Next question.
I just want to know the dollar amount. You got a total dollar amount?
I have them if you'd like them.
I would like them.
Okay. The total dollar amount for the March 27th warrants was $5,103,937.13. And the total for the April 3rd warrants was $1,624,792.19.
Thank you for that, but I was actually looking for tonight's warrants total.
These are the ones we approved tonight,
So-
this week.
So the entire total is how much?
6.7 million.
6.7 million? Okay. And is it still the policy of the police department to bring the warrants to the selectmen's houses?
Let's move on to another question, please.
That's actually,
It's not.
it's
Mr.
not, they don't do that anymore?
They do a e-sign thingy, the
In
DocuSign.
DocuSign, is that acknowledging that they're approving the warrants?
Yes, it is.
So when they e-doc sign the warrants, they do that once they get it delivered to them? So my question is, if there's $6.7 million in expenditures, how can they possibly provide oversight and review and go through $6.7 million of expenditures when they immediately get the e-document?
Mr. Chairman,
I'm moving on from this question. Next question.
It's actually a legitimate question because
Next question, please.
the police have, in the past, brought the warrants to people's houses and got signatures, and they haven't even reviewed them.
Next question, Mr. McDonald.
Okay, this one's for Mr. Kyra. Mr. Kyra, can you tell us, as of right now, what the projected, you're on the, let me just clarify something. You're on the Town Hall School Administration Committee?
Yes.
As of right now, can you tell us what the projected amount is for that project?
I believe approximately 30 to 36 million.
And I think at the previous meeting, we had discussed that that the new high school is on a forced main, and that new project can't be
Mr.
tied
McDonald,
into
we're not going to
that.
be getting into this because we're not in the engineering department. If you'd like to discuss that
Well,
with the engineering
no, I
department,
don't-
they'd be
it's
more than
not-
happy to.
I don't need to. Mr. Kyra is on that committee, so I just needed to get a couple of clarifications. And the clarification that I wanted to get was, with regard, I was told by Al Spalding, and I was told at the Finance Committee hearing that there were no permits issued, septic permits or building permits. And my question is, what's the status on how they're going to tie into sewer or septic? Do you know anything about that?
Actually, I do not, but you asked that question at our last meeting, and Mr. Pilata answered you directly and succinctly, and he gave you all the information at that particular time. Unfortunately, I don't remember it because I...
Yeah, he did. He
you know,
didn't.
but
He didn't have the answer
I know you
to
asked
that.
that question because I was there when you asked it. And,
Right,
And
but
you've
I-
asked this question about 10 or 15 times. So I
Do you-
don't,
do you
I
think
don't know
it's-
what the end game is.
Do you think it's a legitimate question?
Sure, I think it's a legitimate
Well, what's the
question.
answer?
Well, I think you need to go to the next meeting and ask it again, so Mr.
But we're
Pilata,
we're
who's
very very far along
who
in
is
the process.
professional, can
I know, but
answer
you're on
you
the
that
you're on the
question.
committee, and we're looking at
Yeah,
$36 million,
Yeah.
right? And money's being spent on that project. There's no building permit.
I'm
There's
inviting
no
you
septic
to the
permit.
next meeting, Mr.
I've been
McDonald,
going
for
to
you
meetings,
answer
Mr.
that
Kyra,
question.
but I
So
haven't
then
been
you have
get-
the answer to that question.
that has
So-
not been answered.
It has, okay.
Next question, please.
Too bad, sorry.
So, Mr. De Palma, I asked you a few meetings ago if you can provide the names of the companies that bid on the disposal of the sludge for the water treatment facilities.
You have been given all that information by our DPW director approximately 3 months ago.
No.
In a meeting
That's not
that
correct.
we had. And as far as who bid on it, I have no information on that.
So in other
Next
words,
question,
you're
please.
supposed to be providing oversight for the people of Wilmington, and
Next
Mr.
question, sir.
Semaglia was hired, and 2 weeks later, a contract was signed
Next
for about
question,
$120
please.
million. And I'm just trying to find out,
Next question, please.
okay, what's the dollar amount that a bid has to be put out for multiple bids, public advertising and that sort of thing? Do you know that, Mr. De Palma?
I have no idea what you're speaking about.
How can you
Next question,
possibly
please.
provide oversight to the community if you
Next
don't know
question,
answers to
please.
these questions? Next question.
Mm-hmm.
Are you too busy campaigning for Joe Biden to get us answers to these questions?
Sir, I think we've had enough.
No,
Your
it's a
time's
sim-
up.
it's-
If you'd
is
like
that
to
not a
sit down.
legit- is that
if
not a
you-
legitimate
If
question?
you want to sit down, sir, and listen to the rest of the meeting, fine. If not, would you please leave? Thank you.
Would you please
We'll
leave?
move on.
It doesn't seem like you're providing oversight for the community, Mr. De Palma. Very disappointed in you.
Hi, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
One thing that I'd like to make the board, well, two things that I'd like to make both the board and the public aware of is this coming Saturday at 2 o'clock in the morning, which is April 13th, the Wilmington Minutemen will do their annual March to Concord, which basically means that what we'll be doing is that the Minutemen will be assembling on Wilmington Town Common at 2 o'clock in the morning. Typically, the Minutemen have a police escort that'll take them from the town common up to the Burlington Ave Bridge, and they will be live firing the muskets at that time. They have permission from Chief Desmond to do so. It's an annual event that has been going on for at least 20, 30 years, if not longer. The other thing that I'd like to make the board aware of is that on Sunday, April 28th at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, not morning, the Wilmington Minutemen will be dedicating a Liberty Pole on Rotary Park in memory of Michael Kelly, who was a former captain and chaplain of the Minutemen. I know we've asked both the temporary town manager, Semaglia, as well as Chairman De Palma to speak at that event, and I'd like to invite the rest of the board and, basically the general public. Hopefully there'll be, a few speeches, not overly long, hopefully, and we will raise the pole for the first time in several years. This pole replaced a pole that fell apart in a storm prior to COVID, and it took us a few years to find a Liberty Pole maker. They're not exactly, you don't exactly look in the yellow pages under Liberty Pole manufacturers, but it is a significant part of colonial history, and Wilmington obviously was a piece during those times as well as today.
Thank you, sir. Any other announcements? New business? No new business? Important dates.
Mr. Chair, April 8th through April 12th, curbside collection of leaves and grass. April 10th, brush drop-off, Old Main Street, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. April 13th, brush drop-off, Old Main Street, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. April 15th will be town offices closed, Patriots' Day. April 17th, brush drop-off, Old Main Street, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. April 17th is the last day to register to vote in the annual town election and annual town meeting. The town clerk's office will be open until 5 p.m. April 17th, the Senior Center Building Committee, Town Hall, School Administration Building Committee, Town Hall, Room 9, 6 p.m. April 20th, brush drop-off, Old Main Street, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. April 20th, the Little League Parade, opening day. Good times. The parade steps off the 4th of July parking lot at 9:30 a.m. April 22nd, Board of Selectmen, Town Hall, Room 9, 7 p.m. April 22nd through the 26th, curbside collection of leaves and grass. April 27th, annual town meeting, polls open 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. May 4th, annual town meeting, high school auditorium, 9 a.m. May 6th to May 10th, curbside collection of leaves and grass. And May 10th is the Special Olympics at Wilmington High School. Opening ceremony begins at 9:30 a.m., and that's always a really nice time.
Thank you. Just one correction, on April 27th is the annual town elections.
That's what I said? No?
It's the town meeting.
No. April 27th is the annual town election, polls open 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. May 4th is the annual town meeting, high school auditorium, 0900.
Now I'll turn the mic over to Mr. Bendel for salute to service.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and on behalf of the board, it's my privilege to present tonight's salute to service to Specialist Paul Farrell, a Wilmington resident who served in the U.S. Army from March of 1968 till March of 1971 and participated in the Counteroffense Phase 5, Test 69 counteroffensive in summer and fall of 1969. Some of Paul's awards include the National Defense Service Medal, Vietnam Service Medal with 3 Bronze Stars, the Vietnam Campaign Medal with the 1960 device, Good Conduct Medal, and 2 overseas bars. Unfortunately, we lost Paul recently, and he will be laid to rest in the Veterans Lot here in Wilmington later this month. So tonight, we thank him for his service, and we salute him.
Thank you. Do I have a motion? Wait a minute, nope.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to
Wait.
make a motion that we go into executive session, not to return.
Executive session for the purpose of discussing strategies with respect to collective bargaining as it relates to non-negotiation with non-union personnel, town manager, in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A2. I have a motion to accept.
I made the motion to
I'll
accept.
second.
All those in favor?
You need a roll call on that, or
All those,
roll call? Frank
Roll
West,
call?
yes?
Lilia Maselli, yes.
Greg Bendel, yes.
Kevin Curry, yes.
Jared Palmer, yes.
Night.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you.